Hey guys, welcome to episode 3 of Ranked, a CineBoys podcast. This week's episode is a lot of fun, but I do want to give you a heads up that we have a couple audio issues. Unfortunately, there was a slight problem with Ben's mic that gives it a little bit of a popping sound sometimes in the background of his. We caught it halfway through and had him switch off of that mic. And then when we get to our guest list section, he's in a whole different mic because it's more recent and it's, all of our newer, better mics. So we're a little all over the place with that on this one, but I hope that you'll forgive us for that because it's still a super fun episode and I hope you all enjoy. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ranked, a podcast by the CineBoys. We are the CineBoys. My name is Mitch. I'm joined by Ben and Sam. We are 3 assistant directors who are also just massive film and TV nerds. And on this podcast, we get together, we pick our favorite movies and TV shows in a particular category, and we rank them. This week, we are doing the top 8 animated films. This was Sam's choice because he won last week that we played.
That's right.
And so, Sam, why did you pick animated, and what is your criteria for the films that you chose?
I was in the mood for it. I watched Paddington 2 recently for the first time, and I was like, that's not an animated movie, but I want to do something with voice acting. So I was like, let's just do animated movies and make it easy. Because I'm in Canada, and I don't have a ton of time right now. So I was like, let's just be easy and breeze through this because I feel like all of our animated movies that we pick will be great, and there won't be a lot of arguments this episode.
Yeah, probably not.
Literally my whole criteria.
I love it. Ben, and by the way, listener, if I sound like I'm sick, it's because I am. Last week you had Ben.
Mitch's turn.
Yeah, last week we had Ben
Everybody's
and Sam sick.
sick.
This week it's my turn. But so Ben is now, of course, joined by his 2 pups, who it's fitting that they're also here to pick animated films. Ben, what was your criteria for picking your animated film choices?
Animated's a little bit difficult because I'm already biased that I don't like animated movies. I think
Oh, for real? Is that true?
Yeah, I think they're designed and made for children and families, which for the most part is true. And that's just not really my vibe. But
We were the most excited to see Spider-Man when we went to go see.
Yeah, who is this person?
Because we'll get into what the top 8 is, but that's because Spider-Verse is maybe the greatest. Either one, Into or Across, is maybe the greatest animated movies of all time. I have no idea.
Well,
so we know Ben's top 2 answers.
It's crazy because I will watch an animated film with like my nephews or my nieces, and I will actually be shocked at how good it is. And I'm like, this is animated?
Yeah.
Kind of like when you walk in on a movie and you're like, Tom Cruise is in this? You know what I mean? One of those vibes.
Just so you guys know, listener, Ben is absolutely insane tonight. Ben, as we started recording, Ben was crying, laughing at nothing. This is what if you are inside of Hollywood and you're wondering what assistant directors are like offset. It's just feeling the full range of emotions at all times. So my criteria, basically, I'm on the opposite spectrum from Ben. I love animated films. It was hard to choose because it's if you want to make me cry, show me an animated movie. I feel like most of the time, it's very rare that I watch an animated film and then I don't cry. It happens all the time. I don't know what it is specifically about that type that just it gets to me. But these 8 are my favorites. It was super hard to choose. I tried to not make it just all Pixar. This list could have easily been just 8 Pixar movies, but there's also ones that I love even more. So it's a healthy blend. But these are my top 8. I'm stuttering. I'm freaking so sick. But these are my top 8 favorite films. So in this game, we'll all go around. We'll each list our favorites, working from the bottom up. So starting with our number 8 pick, Sam is our lovely scorekeeper. He's excellent at it. So for this list, the way that our game works, the number 1 film out of 8, the number 1 film would have 8 points assigned to it. The number 8 film would have 1 point assigned to it. Once we've listed all of our 8 picks, we will then tally up the scores to figure out which film has come out on top, and then whoever wins gets to pick next week's topic. So, Sam, since you picked this week, why don't we start with you for your number 8 pick?
And that sounds like a great idea, and I'm starting off with an absolute banger. All of these movies that I have picked, I consider to be 10 out of 10 movies.
Ooh.
It was very hard for me to pick.
Yeah.
And I'm starting off number 8 with a franchise that is soon getting a remake, which I think is, for once, the worst decision they can make with a franchise because it's so fresh.
Yeah.
My number 8 pick is How to Train Your Dragon 2. How to Train Your Dragon
so good.
2 is so freaking good. And I
Yeah.
don't know why, but I also do know why. It's because it's emotional. It is heart-wrenching. Spoiler alert, when the dad dies, holy crap, that was
Tears.
way too much for a kid.
Yeah.
The music alone, you guys know that soundtrack is unbelievable. It is by far one of the best voice acted, best written, best directed animated movies of all time. And the fact that it's number 8 means my other 7 are just even better. But that movie, I still consider to be a 10 out of 10.
I love it. No, that movie makes me ugly cry. Have you seen it, Ben?
I've never seen How to Train Your Dragon 2.
You are a psycho.
And I haven't seen the first one in a very long time. So I didn't feel right putting it on here. I should have watched it. I didn't. But I have a feeling that if I would have watched it last week, it would probably be on this list.
This is going to be the guy who sees the live action movie before the animated one. And I'll bet we see it while we're filming season 6. Like I'm predicting that right now. We are going to watch the live action remake with Ben before he sees the animated movie.
I would not be surprised. Also, I do want to say, in defense of the live action How to Train Your Dragon, it might be not, it's highly unlikely to be as good as the animated films. But I will say, Mason Thames, who's playing the lead in that, I've worked with him on another film. He's a great kid. I hope the best for him because he's great and he deserves to be in a great movie. So for his sake alone,
making a bad choice.
They're making a bad choice. I agree. They should not be live action remaking it. But for his sake, I hope it turns out. But Ben, what is your number 8 pick? The man who hates animated films. What crept into your top 8?
My number 8 is the Bee Movie.
What?
Listen, B. Barry Berenson is actually maybe the greatest animated character of all time. You're telling me I get an animated Jerry Seinfeld talking like a bee. I get an animated Ray Liotta in a half courtroom drama where they actually bring in a live bear and everybody's like, not the bear! And then they have to like scouge for honey and stuff, dude. That's an incredible movie. And I couldn't be happier with it at my number 8.
Dude, I love that for you. I laughed hard just then.
Ben also just made his list 2 minutes before we started recording.
Yeah,
hey, listen, I was writing it down.
we got onto the Riverside, which is the program we use for recording, and Ben was like, all right, let me just write down my list real quick. And we were like, what? He's got 2 dogs jumping all over him, and he's trying to write down 8 animated movies.
I like B Movie. It is funny, but the fact that it's in your top 8 is insanity to me. But also, you don't watch very.
It's just number 8.
Ben, okay.
There's more good movies coming.
The Bee Movie might be the greatest meme ever made. Like it might just be a 100-minute long meme, and for that, I gotta respect you putting it on the list. I wouldn't have picked it, but
it's not gonna come up again. I bet.
I respect it. Yeah. Watch it be my number 1.
I was about to say it's Mitch's number 1.
I didn't think in episode 4 we'd be talking about the B Movie in depth.
Well, episode 3 that the audience will hear. We have a secret episode that maybe we'll get released on an anniversary or something.
Yeah.
All right. My number 8 is going to make you very excited, Ben. My number 8 pick is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Nice.
I think Across the Spider-Verse is a monumental achievement in animation. Honestly, just the opening of that movie where she's playing drums is honestly one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a movie. I love it. Like honestly, the only reason it's not higher is just because of my love for the other films on this list. But I love Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. Very excited for Part 2. I do feel like when that comes out, it'll be my favorite of the trilogy. Maybe, I don't know. I'm sure they're going to stick that landing. I feel hopeful for them. But it's just a great movie. It's got great characters. It's a lot, but it's also very good.
Come here.
Who's that?
Housekeeping?
Do we have a friend?
No,
of course. I knew it. What's up, Adam?
Adam?
How's it going, dude? Not surprised.
Dude.
Let's see if I can get enough headphones.
Why did I not?
Listener, we are joined.
We're recording right now.
Yeah, we are recording. Yeah.
This is our good friend Adam Drake, who is the first AD on the project.
That's right. What's up, Adam?
Adam, what's your favorite animated movie of all time?
Adam, what's your favorite animated movie of all time?
Spider-Man 2.
We're literally just talking about it right now.
Across the Spider-Verse? No way.
Across the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, sure.
That's
Man,
not true.
I don't know.
That's
a lot of-
absolutely not true.
Okay, I'm gonna go Mitchell's versus Machines.
That
Another
sounds more
good one.
good.
Yeah,
like an Adam
okay.
pick. Yeah.
Oh, I need that.
All right,
back.
I'll let you guys go.
What are you
All
here for?
Bye, Adam. Thank you for
No,
joining
I'll
us.
come by to the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Listener,
I'm
you will
done with it.
probably hear from
I'm a
Adam
fast
Drake
one.
again in the
We're
future.
gonna get you on as a guest at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys listen to me. You went Riverside.
Yeah. We went Riverside.
Yeah,
Took your
it's
advice.
legit,
Yeah.
isn't
It
it?
was good
It
advice.
is.
We love
Yeah.
Riverside.
I've done several podcasts on
Free
Riverside.
plug.
I was like, dude, this thing's legit.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get you on now that you have.
Yeah.
Still rolling.
All right.
Still
Still
Still-
rolling.
Still rolling. Thank you, Adam.
Still rolling.
Yeah, when Adam said Spider-Man 2, I was like, he's not going to stick with that. There's no way. Because
no way.
we watched it with him, and afterwards he was like, yeah. We were
It was
like,
good?
what you thinking? He was like, it's all right.
It's all right.
It's cool.
My quick thing about Spider-Man. Same thing as Adam, where I think that movie's really great, but it's a bit of a sensory overload, and I think they just do so much like like the entire movie. It doesn't slow down, so I think it just needs to calm down a little bit.
It's
Benji, I
Ben,
said it's great.
It's all good. I didn't say anything.
We can move on. We can move on.
We'll talk about it more later on, I'm sure.
I'm sure we will.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. At this point, I might just redo my list. Just kidding. Sam, you're number 7.
Sam, you're number 7.
My number 7. It is a timeless classic. I think people consider it to be in their top 3 Disney movies of all time. It's Aladdin. Aladdin is so good, and we all know why.
Love
It's
Aladdin.
don't give me that look. Don't give me that look.
I've never
You just
seen
put-
it.
You just put B movie at number 8. Aladdin has Robin Williams. Aladdin has amazing music. Aladdin has amazing scenery and amazing art. Aladdin is just so good, and the fact that it's not higher means that my other movies are so great. And I'm going to keep saying that because these other movies are so freaking awesome. And there's a hot take coming up.
Oh boy, I'm ready for it. I love now basically just roasting Ben for being the B movie guy. Like each of his picks were like, okay, but you're the B movie guy, so
Yeah, he's opened up a new can of worms.
that's right. It's your She-Hulk. It's the thing
my-
that will be defining Ben on the
Oh
podcast.
my gosh.
Ben, what is your number 7 pick?
My next one's probably in everybody's top 3 for Disney. It's The Incredibles. It's an incredible movie, incredible animation, incredible
Love
story,
Incredibles. Yep.
incredible heroes, incredible villains. Brad Bird's incredible. That's it.
Everything about that movie is incredible.
Everything's incredible. No, I recently watched it with Emily's nephew, and I mean, I guess he's my nephew too, but in-law. But
His wife's nephew?
Yeah, my wife's nephew. Who's also kind of my nephew. We're just gonna get into the movie. I like The Incredibles because it's fun. The music's fantastic. It almost feels like a 60s spy espionage movie.
Yeah.
In the way that they kind of go back and forth, and then to be revealed that all these other superheroes are being killed off by what ultimately is this villain come back from the past. Fire writing.
Yeah.
That movie's awesome.
It's so good.
Fire writing. And they crushed it. The animation's great. Yeah, it's a good movie.
Everything you said, I agree with.
That movie is a perfect movie.
I could quote almost that entire movie.
Same. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's going to come up again.
I'm sure it will. All right.
I just cleaned up this mess. Can we keep it clean for 10 minutes?
Honey!
Where's my super suit?
Yeah. Everything about the movie is perfection, and I'm sure we will talk about it again.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. My number 7 film is like what Sam said, is probably in most people's top 3 Disney movies. I love it. I grew up on it. It's a classic. It's The Lion King.
Oh, baby.
I think The Lion King is just a phenomenal movie. I love it so much. The Lion King is one of those movies where it's funny to me that it is a musical, because honestly, I never think about it being a musical. And every time I rewatch it, I'm like, oh yeah, they sing in this movie. I forget that it's a musical sometimes because the dramatic elements of that movie are obviously what has always really connected with me. I think it has one of the best Disney scenes ever, which is when Rafiki hits Simba on the head and Simba says, ow. And he says, did it hurt? And he's like, yeah, but it's in the past now. You know, I think that's like such a great lesson for everyone who watches that film.
Oh, Disney movies used to be so good.
I know. Yeah, 90s Disney, peak Disney. Creme de la creme.
It used to be so good, man.
Sam, you're number 6.
My number 6 pick. It's funny because we're all picking things that like we can't really disagree with, so there's no arguments except for my Spider-Verse take and B movie. My other one, okay, when I say top 3 Disney movies, I don't mean Disney Pixar. I mean Disney movies.
Right.
Because there are some Pixars in my list as well, but this next one is also, I think, in people's top 3 or top 4 Disney movies of all time. The classic 2D animation It's Beauty and the Beast. You can like this movie and be a dude. I'm sorry. Princess
It's a
movies
great movie.
are awesome. Princess
Yeah.
movies are great. And I had so many crushes on all of them when I was a kid. Anyway, Beauty and the Beast is so freaking good.
Yeah.
And the only reason I like the live action remake is because Emma Watson's my celebrity crush. Other than that, I understand that this movie stands to the test of time. It's a tale as old as time. It is
Oh.
still so good to this day. The music is still amazing. It's one of those movies where I'm like, why is it Disney music still like this today? Like all of these different movies had such diverse types of music. It's just pitch perfect, and Beauty and the Beast is one of them. It's a beautiful movie. I don't think anyone's going to disagree with me on that, unless Benji hasn't seen it.
I've never seen it.
Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I don't watch musicals, and I don't watch animated
Stockton,
movies. And I realize that's
control.
probably part of the problem is that I don't like musicals, and a lot of those movies are just musicals.
A lot of them are musicals, yeah.
You haven't seen Beauty and the Beast, that's why.
I had that on VHS, man. I was running that back when I was when I was growing up as a little kid, as a little boy. I had the Beauty and the Beast and Cinderella and like Pocahontas on like repeat. I was like, these are great movies, and I don't care. I'm a dude, and I love
Pocahontas. Pocahontas is mid.
Pocahontas is admittedly not held up the way that the other ones have held up. But Beauty and the Beast, though, I think is still one of the only animated films to ever be nominated for Best Picture, which got to hand it to him for that.
While Benji goes over his next one, let me fact check that because I think you're actually right.
Hit me on that fact check. Yeah, it might be that and Up might be the only two. But yeah, Ben, you're number 6.
My number 6 is Into the Spider-Verse, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the first one. I felt like this movie is pretty transcendental. Is that the right word? Transcending?
It might be the right word. I don't know that you're. I don't know if it's being pronounced right.
But I remember walking out and being like, this is what animated movies should be. And Mitch, you and I have had this conversation before that it was one of the few animated movies I've watched that I was like, man, I feel like that is in vein of a child and family movie, but really it is like, it's an adult movie with kind of more adult themes and very serious. And it, in a lot of ways, encompasses exactly what Spider-Man is, and that's the greatest fictional character of all time. And I just think it shows his struggles and shows, hey, you are able to overcome it. And it doesn't matter who it is behind the mask, as long as you're willing to put on the mask and take that leap of faith. You know what I'm saying?
We know what you're saying.
I'm yelling.
We hear you. It's like, y'all are hearing me. Y'all are not hearing me right now.
The thing about the Spider-Verse movies that work is that people get mad at it because they're like, oh, you're just replacing Peter Parker with diversity and you're just trying for that message. No, Miles Morales has his own backstory. He has his own characters around him, and it's a good story. And Miles is a good Spider-Man because he is a good man. That's why anyone can put on the mask. And the fact that they are putting that one into a live action movie as well, when you already have two. Yeah, live action Miles Morales is coming, and they're going to ruin this character too, because they're going to overload us with Miles Morales, like in the movies and in the video game. And now they're going to do a live action movie, and there's going to be way too much Miles, and they're going to ruin it. But already, Miles is a great character, and that's the reason why. And that movie is great. I agree with you.
My number 6 pick is WALL-E, the Pixar animated film from 2000, I think 7. I was a teenager when it came out. I freaking love WALL-E, dude. I love WALL-E so much. It's one of my favorites. When I first watched it, it was in that phase where I'd only ever seen like a couple post-apocalyptic movies when it first came out. So as a kid, when they were showing America and it was all just falling apart and trash everywhere and stuff, I was like, this is amazing. And then obviously I love WALL-E's journey in that film. I love when he goes up into space and they have that fun sequence of him learning how to dance with Eve in like the particles that are coming off of the spaceship as they're flying through space. I just think WALL-E is a beautiful movie and honestly pretty underrated for Pixar. Like I think people are aware of it, but they don't really talk about it very much. And I think it's one of their artier movies in a way. Like it's more of an artsy film for Pixar to make, which is probably why the Criterion Collection not only added it to their collection, but also released the only 4K version you can find of it on the Criterion Collection. But I think it's a great movie, and
I don't remember what movie it is, but the scene where the classical movie starts playing and they're dancing to it, and it's just like,
it's so great. Yeah, that whole sequence of the guy, just learning when he was just like, all right, tell me what dancing is, tell me what barbecue is, tell me what all these things are. It's beautiful, dude. It's so fun.
I have not seen WALL-E in many years, so I can't thoroughly speak on this.
Yeah.
But I saw it when I was like 4 or 6.
Sure.
And I didn't like it, so that's my only
that's
thing that I'll say.
That's your Well, also, I do feel like if I was a kid and I'd seen it, I probably wouldn't like it either, because it did feel like a more kind of grown up. I mean, the fact that they made a movie about like literally post-apocalyptic stuff and trying to make a new humanity on a different planet, those are all, and it's also not necessarily a very happy movie. Like, it does have parts, but it's mostly kind of a little bit melancholy. And I feel like for a kids movie, that was a bold choice, but I respect him a lot for it.
Before I get into my number
number
5, Mitch, you were right. Beauty and the Beast was nominated for Best Picture.
Let's go.
Which speaks even better. And Ben, why you should watch it.
You should watch it. We're gonna do
top 5.
We're gonna do a CineBoys watch Beauty and the Beast one day, and it's gonna be great. Top 5. Let's go, Sam.
Number 5 was mentioned earlier, and I don't know how you can have a movie this good and a side character that is just as cool in Frozone, because The Incredibles is my number 5.
The Incredibles.
Because The Incredibles is a cool movie, and especially we didn't give enough credit there to Frozone, my guy, my favorite growing up. The Incredibles is great, and nothing else I can say on it. The sequel is also great, but The Incredibles still stands the test of your face B movie.
The second one, within the first 5 minutes, I was like, I know exactly where this plot's going. It's the most call out. We won't get into it. So my number 5 is Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yes.
Nice. I knew we'd talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's. I don't know if I told y'all this. I think we have before, but I did not see it in theaters. And as you know, I'm not actively trying to watch animated films. I really didn't know anything about it, and then it was shown at school one day for a sub, and I watched half of it and only half of it, and I literally was like, Dad, we got to go to Blockbuster. I got to rent this movie. And in like the 5th grade, my dad took me to Blockbuster, so we rented it.
Blockbuster.
Wow.
And
that hurt.
Throwback, yeah.
Yeah, it's
that was a deep cut.
And that's the thing is I fell in love with it. I think it's funny. I think that's a lie. I think it's hilarious. To this day, I still laugh at a lot of jokes that are in that movie.
It's so funny.
And the art of it is, there really are just some really beautiful parts in it. The story's great. And yeah, that's my number 5, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Benji, did you know that we as 3 know one of the producers of Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs?
We do indeed. Chris June.
Chris June, one of the producers of The Chosen, is a producer on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Shout out to Chris.
I just found that out because I'm doing my research on this movie.
Oh, dang. He also has a credit on Into the Spider-Verse as well.
And Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Where we can go on and on about Chris June's
Good old Chris,
yeah. It's my number 5. Mitch, what's your number 5?
I'm glad you asked, Benji. Because my number 5 has been talked about. This is a hard choice, but my number 5 is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Let's go.
I almost didn't put both of them on here. I had to seriously debate it. I kind of just wanted to pick one of them, but I loved Across the Spider-Verse too much not to include it.
Yeah.
But I do prefer the first one. I do think that Into the Spider-Verse is great. I think it's just a really well done, a very tightly put together film. And I think the sequence of Miles when he first jumps off that building and swings through the city for the first time, and they play What's Up Danger in the soundtrack, I think is one of the coolest movie moments of the past 10 years. It's just such a great scene.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's so good when he's just falling, and they're right when he's about to jump, they kind of cut back to his dad being like, there's a spark inside of you, I know you can do it. It's incredible, dude. It's such a beautiful movie. And I think they did a really great job with Miles's family in the first one. I think you really get to know and care about his whole family. And so it feels like it pays off really well with his relationship with his family in the film. It's so great.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see it all again in the live action movie. My number 4.
Do it. Number 4.
Number 4. But mainly because I got nothing else to say about Spider-Verse. Like you guys are saying all
It's
the
so
things.
good. Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Yeah.
My number 4 is a Pixar classic that I don't think it's talked about enough. I think people talk about the sequel nowadays more than they talk about the original, which I think is crazy because mine is Monsters Inc. Monsters Inc.
Oh.
is
Yeah, great
so
one.
good and it has such a good ending and it makes me cry every single time and it's funny and it has like it's a perfect animated movie and they don't make movies like they used to anymore and Monsters Inc. is a prime example of that because it's so good it's kind of scary. So
Hmm.
I love that movie. And for some reason, everyone talks about Monsters University more right now in my generation, which I think is really stupid. And especially because we've all like now people I know just now graduated college, like, oh, Monsters University is a perfect college movie. Shut your freaking face. Monsters Inc. came first, and it's better.
Yeah, for sure better. Anyone who says that Monsters University is better than Monsters Inc. has not seen Monsters Inc.
Yeah.
That's just the truth.
I've seen Monsters Inc. and I love it. It's great. I've never
Yeah.
seen Monsters University.
Wow, you've seen one of these movies.
Wow, look at you seeing a movie.
Yeah, because it's
Seen
not a
the animated
musical.
film.
It doesn't have a princess running around.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Ben, your number 4.
My number 4 is Kung Fu Panda.
Let's go.
Nice.
I absolutely adore this movie. I've never seen any
Yeah.
of the other like 5 spin-offs or sequels because that's what Disney and DreamWorks and people do. But I've seen the first one and it's good. It's great. I think it's a great story. Again, I really feel for the character, and especially again of that. I know this is kind of falling into that hero complex of, oh yeah, you're not it, and then by the end of it, you are it. But it works. It's great writing, and I think it's a fantastic story. There's a lot of cool action parts in the movie as well. And Hans Zimmer co-scored it, so you can't go wrong there.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, beautiful movie.
There's nothing to argue there.
Kung Fu Panda is a fantastic movie.
Kung Fu Panda 2 is better. But
Are you serious?
I'm
Hot
dead
take.
serious.
Wow.
Hot take
Hot
on that one.
It's a
Take.
good
Yeah.
take. Have you seen Kung Fu Panda 2, Benji?
I haven't.
Go watch Kung Fu Panda 2.
It's good. It's no Kung Fu Panda 1. But
That's
it's
what I'm
good.
saying. Yeah. Mitch, what's your number 4?
My number 4, here's the deal. We're talking about good sequels. My number 4 might be a hot take. I freaking love this movie. I will die on the hill of loving this movie. I'm
Here we
talking
go.
about DreamWorks' Shrek 2, dude. Shrek
Yes!
2. Shrek 2 is a freaking masterpiece movie, dude. I love Shrek 2. I can probably quote the entire thing start to finish. Love it to pieces. It's so good. The I Need a Hero sequence at the end with the giant gingerbread man and Puss in Boots and all that kind of stuff. It's perfect. Dude, Shrek 2 Shrek 2 is a monumental film. It's a privilege that it came out in our lifetimes. You know what I mean? That's all I'm
Yeah.
going to say about Shrek 2.
Dude, when the giant gingerbread man pulls up to the castle and they go, "We need milk! We need milk!" and they start dumping gallons of milk on him. It's an incredible
so
scene.
Good.
Not
It's
gonna
so
lie,
good.
I've watched Shrek 2 maybe 4 times in the last year.
No way.
There's been a revival of Shrek 2, and
Oh,
it's
good.
so good. Prince Charming alone makes
Yeah.
that movie 10
Fantastic.
times better. So, I'll have the medieval meal. Yes, one medieval meal where he's at the drive-through and he gets his toy.
It's so
That
good.
movie's great, man. I didn't remember loving it as much when I was a kid. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, Shrek 2 is kind of better than Shrek.
Oh, Shrek 2 is absolutely better than Shrek 1. I love Shrek 2, dude. It's so good. Every aspect of that movie, they killed it. And as a
Bizarrely
kid,
funny.
yeah, as a kid, the fact that I, even as a child, really vibed with a movie about marital issues, I was just like, this is hilarious.
And it's the introduction of the best character in the whole franchise, Puss in Boots.
Puss in Boots.
Also true.
He's the best character by far. He's the coolest.
He's the best. It's so good.
I love that we've had some good takes so far because
We've had some good
Shrek
takes.
2.
I'm
Shrek
glad you
2
guys
is
are
a
with me on that one.
masterpiece.
Yeah.
So
So now
All
we're
right,
in the
top
top
three.
3, boys.
top
Yeah.
3. Mine is out of left field, but
Here we go.
if you have not seen this movie, watch it this holiday season because my top 3 is Klaus. Klaus?
Oh, it's a great movie.
Where the heck did this movie come from? in the last like 2 years because this was out of nowhere and it's a masterpiece. And I was like, what? Who made this and why and when and how?
Yeah.
This felt like what old Disney used to be, and it has a cast that was reminiscent of old Disney. It had the style of old Disney, and it's so good. It's like it makes me cry every single time. I will rewatch that movie when it's not Christmas time. Like I think it's just a genuinely amazing movie. So if you have not seen Klaus, you gotta watch it as soon as possible because it blew me away.
Wow,
it's a fantastic movie.
I've never seen it.
It's a great pick.
It was a holiday movie nominated for Best Animated Picture.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
That is
good for them.
Dude, that is pretty crazy.
It was great. I definitely cried my eyes out watching that movie. Again, I cry pretty easily at films in general, and especially animated films. But Klaus, yeah, I watched that with my family, and they were like, "What did you think?" And I was like, "It's good."
It's good.
Ben,
My
you do need to
gosh.
watch that movie. Like, I feel like you and Emily would love that movie.
Fair. Yeah, we'll check it out.
There's no
Give
singing.
it a chance.
No singing.
There's no singing. It's not a musical. You'd love it. I don't think there's singing.
Deal.
Right? Wait, is there singing in that movie? Is it a musical? And I forgot.
No,
Okay,
it's not a musical.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of crying, my number 3 is The Iron Giant. Another Brad Bird film. And honestly, man, you can't go wrong with The Iron Giant. It makes me cry every time I watch it.
Yeah.
And it's just fantastic. I feel like it really knocks out the fall feel if you're trying to get into autumn. It's set up in Oregon, and it's a good movie about a machine turning against the military, dude. I'm not trying to go anti-military right now, but listen.
There we go.
But,
What's up? Be careful.
It's a great 90s animated. I think it's maybe the best animation out of the 90s. Sue me, but it's good.
Interesting take from the B movie man, but yeah, B movie Bing should continue though. Yeah,
B movie came out in 2007, not the 90s.
No, I know.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
But no, Iron Giant's great though.
Dude, it's better than Lion King. It's better than Toy Story.
Easy.
Hot take, boys. All right, Mitch, what's your number 3?
My number 3 been just
Wait
attacked
a second.
Because my number 3. What?
All right. It's 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 all right. Get in your number 3.
I'm ready to get into the fight with Ben because my number 3 is Toy Story.
I knew it
my
would
number 3.
Yeah, get back into the fight.
Yeah, dude, Toy Story. All right. Here's why Toy Story is better than The Iron Giant. I'm just kidding. Both fantastic movies. Everyone should see. No, Toy Story is just great. I love Toy Story. It's the first film from Pixar. I think it didn't need. In a way, Toy Story was really kind of just a technical test, right? I mean, it was the first 3D animated feature-length film. So they didn't need to go as hard as they did on story, but then they managed to make a story that, for me, is just one of Disney's best, one of Pixar's best. I just think it's beautiful. The existential things that the toys are dealing with is not something that anyone was expecting from a 90s animated film. But it pays off really well. It's so beautiful. I think the scene where Buzz tries to fly and falls is heartbreaking every single time. And then the other end of that, when they fly together.
I fly.
That's right.
In the sky. And I fly.
Slowly falling. Oh, so good.
I will go sailing.
Just keeps going.
Dude, honestly, beautiful. Randy Newman would be proud of you.
Randy Newman goes way too hard on those movies. And it's
Randy Newman did not need to go as hard as he did. He was like, so we're making a Best Picture nom, yeah? And they were like, oh, no, it's just a movie for kids. And they're like, okay.
Okay, I'm going to make a Best Picture nom.
Is he Forrest Gump? I'm gonna make a Best Picture nom. I'm Randy.
You got a friend in me. This movie's gonna be Best Picture nominated. You got a friend in me.
Gosh. Wow.
Oh, so good. But yeah, Toy Story, fantastic movie. I love all those movies, but it's my number 3
All the movies
pick.
are good.
They're all good, but first
1 through 4 are all great.
Soft spot. Yeah, they're all great. Number 2, boys.
Listen, I love Toy Story, but none of the Toy Story movies are in my top 8. I'm just gonna say it right now. I think
Same.
they're great. Quiet B movie.
Yeah.
I think they're great. I will say number 4 in particular made me ugly cry. Like
Same.
full on make noise like like
3 and 4.
Buzz saying goodbye to Woody. Oh my gosh. Like
Well,
Yeah.
spoilers.
Yeah, they're like
Benji,
2
watch
infinities.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
watch movies. Don't think they should do a 5th one, but we'll see how that goes.
Are they doing a
That's
5th
happening.
one?
They're doing
Oh,
a
they
5th one.
are.
You guys are how I learn about these things.
But my number 2, speaking of ugly crying in a movie, I won't have to look far to find tears in this movie because Finding Nemo is my number 2 pick because that movie is another perfect movie. I think it was nominated for Best Original Screenplay at the Oscars
for
because
real?
it's so good.
Yeah.
Albert Brooks as Marlin doesn't get talked about enough. They all talk about Ellen DeGeneres as
Great
Dory.
point.
Albert Brooks as Marlin doesn't get enough credit because he is heartbreaking in that movie.
He's so
And
good.
when you think Nemo is dead at the end, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel with a clownfish. I'm sad for this fish.
I feel with this clownfish.
There's nothing funny about this. And it makes the beginning fun. If the beginning is even more real with the barracuda eating Marlin's entire family, because in Jamaica, I got bit by a barracuda. So they
for
are
real?
not there. Yeah, they're not cool. They're not good.
Not cool.
Dude,
They're not
big
cool.
reveal.
Big reveal.
Big
Barracuda
reveal.
do suck in real life. That was
They
accurate.
do.
Because they bit my little feet. And it hurt. But Finding Nemo is perfection. I still watch it. I still cry. I had a little Bruce stuffed animal when I was a kid. I want to rewatch that movie soon because it's great. Finding Dory kind of blows chunks compared to it. So
It's a good
Finding
movie,
Nemo's
but
great.
by comparison, for sure.
Finding Dory's fine. If anyone ever says that Finding Dory is better, then they're a psycho.
No. Finding Dory is the Monsters University to Finding Nemo.
Yeah, the fact that people have actually said to me Finding Dory is better because it's funny need to rot in hell.
Go learn how to cry. That's what these movies are for.
Go grow up. Grow up a little bit.
Yeah. Grow up a little bit and cry.
Finding Dory is better than Finding Nemo. Like Planes is better than Cars.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Honestly.
Honestly.
Wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Although
Hot
Planes
takes.
Planes
for
2
everybody.
is probably better than Cars 2.
Is there an actual Planes 2?
Was there a Planes 2?
There's a Planes Fire and Rescue and Planes. Oh no, I'll look it up. Benji,
I love
Gibbons,
it. I love that you know the Planes.
Out of control.
multiverse.
Yeah.
The freaking Planes trailers were on all the time as a kid because they were trying to advertise the crap out of that movie.
Oh, there you go.
My number 2 will not come as a surprise to anybody, which means my number 1 will. But number 2 is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Yep.
It was my most anticipated movie of 2023.
Yeah.
And I won't tell you where it stands for the year 2023, but I will tell you it's in my top 10 best movies ever made. I walked out of Across the Spider-Verse thinking this is how animated movies should be made. This is the kind of time and care that should go into it because there's like 8 different animation styles and each one of them blew me away. The story's fantastic. I know a lot of people didn't like getting on a cliffhanger. Get over it. It's not your movie. If it is, go make one. Go make one better. And also, if you're complaining about that, then you can't complain about Lord of the Rings because they're the exact same thing, and so is Harry Potter. So, but
and Infinity War
and Infinity War.
It's just full of the hottest takes tonight.
It's so good.
These aren't hot takes. These aren't hot takes because people are saying them.
You know what? I'm sorry, not hot takes, but hot approaches to the takes. Maybe just being like, oh, you know what? You go make a better movie than Across the Spider-Verse. Go ahead. I'll wait.
It's just incredible, and there's over 200 Spider-Men in it. So literally, how can you not have a good time? Enough said.
That's right.
It's my number 2.
Yeah, my big issue with people complaining about the cliffhanger, I'm like, you knew, come on, knock it off. You know there's going to be another one. They're not going to end it there. Like, calm down.
Yeah. Also, have you ever watched a TV show ever? Like in your entire life, you ever gotten to the end of a TV season and been like, "Oh no, I have to wait for the next one"?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean,
I don't get answers right away.
What? I have to wait.
I like opening my Christmas presents in July. Why do I have to wait for across
My number 2 pick has been talked about because guess what? It's also Sam's number 2. It's Finding Nemo. I freaking love Finding Nemo. This movie is such a masterpiece. It's so good. I cry every time I watch Finding Nemo at multiple different places. But I think it's also hilarious. Like I do talk about the emotional aspects of these movies, but I think Finding Nemo is also, I mean, as a kid, I was dying laughing, and as an adult, every time I see it, I still quote along with it and think it's very funny. But one part that makes me cry almost every time is the part where basically Nemo is finding out that like his dad has been looking for him. I think it's the pelican telling him.
I know exactly what this is.
Yeah, and
I heard he took
Nemo's like yeah, exactly. He's like, I heard he fought a shark, and then the pelican's like, no, I heard he took on 3, and you're just like, he cares about his son, and I cry so hard. It's such a beautiful movie,
dude. We're gonna be like we're all gonna be like dads soon, and that's gonna be even like more so for us.
Oh, dude, when I'm showing my kids Finding Nemo, they're gonna be like, Dad, why are you crying, Daddy? Why are you crying at the fish movie, Daddy?
Daddy,
Daddy, when you see the fish movie, why do you cry? And
why did you cry?
You sound like Prince Charming, Mummy.
Yeah, Mummy. Yeah, my kids are gonna be Prince Charming. Number one, guys. I mean, this is our final pick.
Number ones.
All right,
Sam.
My number 1. This will come as a surprise to no one because it is the best animated movie of all time. Because it is an amazing soundtrack. It's amazing animation. It's amazing acting. It's amazing animals. It's amazing lions. It's The Lion King.
Lion King.
Because this movie is so freaking. It's like surprisingly good, and I still watch it. And I'm like, this is wild how good this movie is. And for people like even the sequel's kind of good, like Simba, like their kids, like even that movie's kind of good.
Simba's Pride, let's go.
Simba's Pride. Lion King's so freaking good, and I always forget that Matthew Broderick is Simba, and it's even better because of it. And Nathan Lane in that movie is perfect.
Who does Nathan Lane play?
Timon.
Oh, it's Timon. Okay. Yeah,
and of course, the greatest Disney villain, one of the greatest Disney villains of all time, Jeremy Irons as Scar. How could you not be terrified of this guy and be prepared? It's such a good movie. They'll never make it like screw that live action remake. It was fine. Love you, Jon Favreau, but there was no need for that. I don't understand that at all.
And also, they cut out the very thing that I quoted earlier, which is the Rafiki scene with Simba. And I was like, you're gonna cut this out and include a Beyonce music video?
Yeah, and they didn't do the "He Lives in Me" song, which is I think is arguably one of the better songs in the first one.
That is a good one.
Every song in that is good.
Every song in that is good. For being Disney's Hamlet with lions, it's crazy that it has as good music.
It makes no sense for it to be that good. I don't like
the part where Simba roars on the rock as it's raining and all the animals bow. Unbelievable.
And the music, of course, it's amazing.
It's so good.
I think my number 1 may come to a shock to everybody, but my number 1 is a movie that has already been mentioned, but only by one of you. And that movie is WALL-E.
Oh, nice.
WALL-E is to this day one of my very, very favorite films and very favorite animated films. Nice. Bought it the day that Criterion released the 4K edition. I have a little WALL-E on my bookshelf. Yeah, I am freaking obsessed with that movie because there are just some movies, man, that just hit hard. In the part when they reset his battery and Eve's like, but WALL-E, and he's just rebuilding and building these freaking boxes, dude. I cry every single time because I'm like, come back. You need Eve. She needs you. Come back. And it's so good, dude. But you're right. And I love that like half the movie is him just hanging out by himself. And he's just kind of doing his own thing. And I love the little quirkiness of the cockroach. And you're right. There is some absolutely beautiful moments in the movie that still to this day, I'm like, man, this movie really holds up as just gorgeous.
Awesome. I love that for you. Yeah. Mitch. Love WALL-E.
By the way, I think the scores are going to be all over the place. I haven't checked yet. But...
I think the scores are going to be crazy. Yeah. I'm curious to hear them. But my number 1 has also been talked about, not by one of you, but by both of you. My number 1, my favorite animated movie of all time is The Incredibles. I freaking love The Incredibles, dude. I watched this movie on repeat as a kid, so much so that I remember one day, I think I was 12, I watched it one like Saturday morning, and I had so much fun with it that I literally said, you know what? I'm going to watch it again. And I did. I watched it back to back one morning when I was 12, and it's in my general top 10 movies ever, probably. I don't know if we're ever going to do a list like that, but if we ever do, spoilers, The Incredibles for sure will be on there. I love that movie. I think it's perfect. I think it did that perfect thing of being a kids movie, but not talking down to kids. Like, it made a movie that's great for families, but it still has scary situations, like the part where the mom talks to the kids and she says, you know, the bad guys on those cartoons that you watch, well, these guys are not like those guys. They will kill you if they get the chance.
Nuts,
I'm like,
dude.
that is the like coldest crap that a Disney parent has ever said in a Disney movie, and it is amazing that they have it in this movie. It's insane that it exists, and I love it so much.
I always forget about that part, man.
Even, I mean, the part where Elastigirl is like, throw me at the end is
oh man, throw me.
Yeah,
dude.
All right, boys.
But those are our top 8.
Those are our top 8. It's a good top 8.
8.
I'm gonna give my quick honorable mentions while I do the scoreboard.
Yeah.
This is in no particular order, but because my first honorable mention is a hot take. Frozen 2 is awesome and better than the first one. That's my honorable mention.
I'm with you. Frozen 2 is so good.
We can talk about that later in time.
Yeah.
Puss in Boots 2 almost made my list. Phineas and Ferb the movie 2 is awesome.
The movie 2?
These sequels.
Yeah, the second one.
I didn't know there was a second one.
I didn't know either.
The Little Mermaid, all the Toy Story movies. Incredibles 2. I really like that movie. Benji, I'm sorry.
It's all good. It's just trash. I'm just kidding.
Ralph Breaks the Internet, the sequel to Wreck-It Ralph, is also really great.
It's great.
Are you serious?
I love that movie.
I mean, I prefer the first one, but the second one is also very good.
We can't argue hot takes right now. We don't.
That's right.
The SpongeBob SquarePants movie is a comedic masterpiece, and I watch it every time I visit Illinois with my best friends, and we quote all of it. Yeah, no, I don't think this can count, but honorable mention of the honorable mentions. Enchanted for the animated sequences that are in it. It's not animated. I just love that movie. It's not honorable mention. It's not. I love that movie
for animated. Yeah.
I love that movie, but
it's a great movie.
No, but it's not. It's not going to count. I just wanted to talk about it because I recently rewatched it and I was like, this movie should not be this as good as it is.
All right, Ben, what were your honorable mentions as Sam tallies up our scores?
My number 1 honorable mention was Big Hero 6.
Yeah,
love that movie.
Absolutely love it. When Baymax is just like, "Are you satisfied with your care?" Dude, ball like a baby every time. Zootopia, I really like. Zootopia is good. Watched it recently over Thanksgiving and forgot how good of a movie it is. I would say Toy Story 1 and Toy Story 3 because Toy Story 3 has made me cry more than probably any other movie in my life when they are all gathering hands going into a fire pit. Yeah. Dude, Disney didn't have to go that hard, and they did.
They did.
The Legend of Tarzan with a little nod to Phil Collins.
Do you mean just Tarzan?
Yeah, I was like, is it called The Legend of Tarzan?
The Legend of Tarzan is the Margot Robbie movie.
Hey, listen, man, I don't watch animated movies. Judge me. Just kidding, but and then I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, Isle of Dogs.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yeah,
that's good.
Good pick.
And Sausage Party.
My gosh.
I'm just kidding.
Sausage Party, dude.
Only kidding for those listeners that have never seen that movie. Do not watch it. It is not for kids. It is not for anybody ever. Do not watch Sausage Party.
Do not watch Sausage Party.
Mitch, what are your honourable mentions?
Seth Rogen's coming for you.
Yeah. I can't do it as good as you can, Sam.
Why don't you like watching Sausage Party?
The laugh is spot on. My honorable mentions, I'll go through them real fast. Up, cry every time. Princess Mononoke, because I do love anime, and I don't love one enough to put it on the list, but I love one enough to honorable mention it. Lilo and Stitch, because I love that movie. How to Train Your Dragon 2 is in my honorable mentions.
Let's go.
Ghost in the Shell, another anime, phenomenal movie. If you guys have not seen it, if you watch one anime feature film, watch Ghost in the Shell. Cloud with a Chance of Meatballs, Robin Hood, the 1960s Disney
Yeah.
Robin Hood. It's so good. I love it. And then the Lego Batman movie, dude. I love the Lego Batman movie. It's so great. Okay, so we have some guest lists for our top 8 animated movies. I'm very excited. Thank you guys for writing in. We got a couple of comments on our YouTube channel as well as some emails, and I'm just so excited that I figured I would read 2 of the lists that we got, one from our YouTube comment and one from our email. I will start with the person who emailed us. So this is from Corey. From Midlothian, Texas, writes in her top 8. Good old shout out to Midlothian. Probably
Do
our
we know
biggest.
Midlothian?
I don't think we know Corey. I think
Yeah.
it says
Corey, if you're one of our background,
Yeah.
we're so sorry.
forgive us for
Forgive us.
for
We can't
blanking on
remember
the
everything.
name. Yeah. But if you're ever on set, please come up and say hi to us. She writes in and says, I'm from Midlothian, and these are my top 8 personal favorite best animated movies of all time. So I'll go from 8 to 1 on her list. And I'll just read them off and we can all react to them together. So number 8, Nimona. And then number 7 is Wish. We'll get back to that.
Yeah, so well, hold on. As before Mitch goes on, because this is the first time we're reading fan responses or comments, we love movies. We will disagree with each other all the time. Me and Benji especially. I'll antagonize him every once in a while.
Yeah.
So if you submit a list
Right.
and we disagree with your take, just know it's
Right.
not you as a person.
Right.
It's your taste.
It's
in
your
movies.
list. And also
it's just your movies.
when we read your list on the podcast, that means that you're an honorary CineBoy. And the same way that that all of us react in sometimes big manners to each other's lists, we're going to do the same to your list. So
You're
just
into
to know,
this now.
we're going to be talking about your number 7 in just a second, Corey.
We're going to talk about Wish in just a second.
Number 6, Brave. Number 5, Bolt.
We're going to talk about number 6 in just a second.
Number 4, Frozen. Number 3, Big Hero 6, a great movie. Number 2, How to Train Your Dragon 1, and number 1, Tangled.
Oh, okay.
So she says after this, I didn't think much on these. I was just ranking them based on favorites. She also wanted to ask, completely unrelated, but I wanted to hear y'all's opinion on there being a Top Gun 3. I just heard about it, so I don't know if it's a rumor or not. Thanks for being an awesome podcast. It gives me something to look forward to every week and hyperfixate on. Thank you so much for writing that in.
That's
Corey.
awesome. Yeah.
Your list, Corey, has some films that I absolutely agree with. I love How to Train Your Dragon. I love Big Hero 6. I love Bolt, and I actually think it's a lot of fun. It's a great time. I haven't seen all of them. Yeah, Tangled. I will say this, I'm on the fence a little bit about Tangled. I'm not like a hater of Tangled, but it's not my favorite. You know, I like it, but I have like a weird, sometimes movies just have so much joy in them, and then maybe I just have like, I don't know, that movie is so happy and joyful and great. Well, you would think I would love it, but
maybe you suck as a person, because
Corey, I think
Corey sounds like just the most wonderful person.
It's so true
that we hopefully know. I hope we know you, Corey. I hope you're one of our background.
If we don't, I hope we get to know you soon.
And I love that you love Wish.
Yeah. And you know what? I will say this. I watched Wish. It was not my favorite Disney animated movie, but it's also not that bad. People sometimes hate on a movie too much. I think you should never hate on a movie that at its core is trying to put joy and peace and good things into the world. Was it the strongest Disney animated film? No, it's not the strongest, but there were a lot of families there when I watched it, and there were a lot of people having big laughs and a good time. So I'll at least give it that. So
Corey,
no
as much as we poke fun, we'd actually like to know what you loved about Wish to put it.
You should write us again.
Yeah, please tell us.
Yeah,
we want to know,
because having Nimona at number 8 makes me so happy, because I feel like I'm the only one here who's seen Nimona.
You are. I've never seen
Nimona.
Yeah,
Nimona's a ton of fun. So Corey, please comment on this video as to why you love Wish so much.
Oh, I thought you meant Moana.
Oh no, Nimona. Nimona is it came out on Netflix last year. Get the heck out of here. Number 1 actor on this podcast, Ben Stockton. I want to go to your second question, which is about Top Gun 3. Yeah.
It is going to be called Goose. I'm just kidding.
Can you imagine?
Funny thing is, the three of us were just talking about this movie the other day, hearing about Top Gun 3 for the first time. Are we all collectively in agreement that we are nervous but not surprised, because Top Gun 2 is a masterpiece?
Yeah.
Where else could they go with Top Gun 3?
I am nervous. I'm nervous. I'm not surprised, because when a good movie is good, it calls for a sequel in the eyes of a studio, and it does.
Yeah.
It does make me nervous. I think you had said in a text, Sam, that you thought that the fact that Tom Cruise is doing it means that it at least has a chance.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm sure he's seen a script, right? And hopefully, if he's still on board, he thinks it's a good enough script, because it is kind of his baby. You know, even though he's not the director of them,
Yeah.
they're very much his movies. So
we talked about Tom Cruise in our first released episode, and I've all said, like, he hasn't made, except for The Mummy, a genuinely bad movie. So he knows how to pick it. Top Gun 3 was always going to happen. We all kind of knew, but I think we were all kind of hoping it wasn't going to happen. I love Top Gun 2. I will probably be in the theater with you guys, with you two, for Top Gun 3. But I'm nervous. I don't want it's Top Gun Maverick. He just left that alone. He flies off into the sunset. If Top Gun 3 is about Rooster and Hangman, then I'm in. But I don't know how you reincorporate Maverick after he had a perfect ending.
he had an
Don't.
ending.
He died at the end.
Off screen. Yeah.
Have you not heard the theory on Reddit?
Is it like the grease theory that, like,
Yeah,
they fly off and
That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. He actually died when he got shot out of the air. And Miles Teller made it home, but he didn't make it with him. He was just a ghost there to help Miles Teller get home.
Then Lady Gaga sang her soul out
Hmm.
to nothing. And John Hamm. And then that means John Hamm did this
to
for no
nobody.
reason.
Yeah.
To nobody.
They cut back. It's just the ghost. It's like a force ghost of Tom Cruise is there on the deck, and he just disappears.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
the Ewoks that are dancing all around as, like,
that's
welcoming
right.
him home.
So good.
Um,
Another example
Corey-
of why it's a Star Wars film.
Corey, thank you so much for your submission and for your kind words of our podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for loving movies, and thank you for listening to our podcast, Corey. I have another list here from at the real ZAL Clay on YouTube, who I believe it's Isaiah. It's Isaiah. That's right. So
Oh, Isaiah!
he comments on our YouTube. He says, "Animated movies? ? Say less." And here's his top 8 list. I'll reverse the order and read from 8 first. So again, I'll read off
Before you read it,
Yeah.
Isaiah, we're going to roast you much harder.
That's right. We know
Yeah,
Isaiah.
we know you.
We
We
know
know
Isaiah.
Isaiah.
He's a friend
Yeah.
of the show. And if we disagree with you, just know that the thunder's coming.
Oh, it's coming
but
hard.
he has honorable mentions too. So let me get through his top 8, and then I'll read his honorable mentions before we respond. So number 8, Spirited Away. Number 7, Up. Number 6, The Lion King. Number 5, Toy Story 3. Number 4, Monsters, Inc. Number 3, How to Train Your Dragon. Number 2, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Number 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Let's go.
A
That's
man
my
after
boy
your own
Isaiah.
heart, Ben. And then honorable mentions. We have the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. We have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. We have Finding Nemo, Shrek, and Your Name. Honestly,
All right,
there's
Isaiah.
not a bad movie on that list.
That's not
Even in your
a bad-
honorable.
No, yeah, that's a
mentions.
good
At least
one.
by CineBoys standards.
Take notes, Corey.
Come on, Corey. Corey, we need you and Isaiah to have a movie night and just trade off movies, show each other these
Yeah.
films. It'll be great. Honestly, I will say, in defense of Corey's list was nonstop joy. From 1 to 8, joy.
Yeah,
And then
no,
Isaiah's list, we have films that were on some of our lists as well. But I don't think any of us had Up or Spirited Away.
No.
And those are great movies, honestly. And so is you know what? I was about to say so is Your Name. I haven't seen Your Name, but I've heard
I
nothing
haven't
but
seen Your Name.
great
I've
things
heard
about
it's
it. I want to
unreal,
see
man.
it. And I think was your number 1, Ben? Forgive me, we're recording this a little bit after it, but your number 1 was Across the Spider-Verse, yeah? Or no, yours was
yeah.
Wall-E. Yours was
Oh, mine.
Wall-E.
Forgive me. My number 1 was Wall-E. My number 2 was Across the Spider-Verse. Yes.
That's correct. Okay, nice. Well, yeah, this is a great list. 2 great lists from 2 great listeners. Thank you for supporting the podcast, guys. And if you would like to see your list read on the air, please comment on our videos and we will, or email us and we will read yours live on our podcast. We love you guys. Thanks for writing in. And we'll be back to our regular show in just a moment.
All right, boys. This is insane.
I'm so ready.
So I actually still don't really know who won.
Okay.
I think it's Mitch.
We are going to go from number 1 first.
Okay.
Because the scores... actually, do I need to explain the scores?
So, yeah. So, again...
I do.
For our rankings, yeah, number 1 gets 8 points, number 8 gets 1 point.
Yeah.
We tally them all up to see what our overall top 8 are.
There is a winner, but the way that it's decided is by a math technicality.
Okay.
So I'm going to go from 8 to 1. I'm going to go from bottom to top. So number 8 with 4 points is Cloud with a Chance of Meatballs.
Let's go.
Number 7 with 5 points is Shrek 2, Kung Fu Panda, and Monsters, Inc. in a 3-way tie. Number 6 in a 3-way tie is Toy Story, The Iron Giant, and Klaus.
Wow.
Number 5 with a score of 7 is Into the Spider-Verse. Number 4 with Across the Spider-Verse is number 8. Now, this is where our scores collide, and they only make 1 score, and there are only 3 movies. No, there are only 4 movies left.
Okay.
Number 3 is The Lion King with a score of 10.
Yep.
Number 2 is WALL-E with a score of 11. And number 1 in a 2-way tie is Finding Nemo and The Incredibles with a score of 14. But because Mitch, the highest score out of all of them was an 8 for The Incredibles and a 7 for Finding Nemo, Mitch wins the episode because while they tied, he put it at a number 8. So he has the highest ranking. So Mitch, you win this week's episode.
All right. Well, let's freaking go. Shoot. Oh my gosh, I never thought this would happen to me.
I didn't think that was going to happen. I thought I was going to win.
That's crazy. I thought so too when you had some of yours where they were. And honestly, when Ben said WALL-E, I was like, well, that's it. But dude,
I know.
Yeah. Well, shoot, guys. I mean, it's in our first 3 episodes, we've each won one, which is kind of honestly pretty amazing. Well, guys, I'm not going to hit you with anything too crazy. We do, by the way, for the listener, we do have a veto process if it's a selection that just doesn't work for the other 2 viewers. We have an option for that, but I don't think you guys will because I'm pretty sure you guys like this director. But let's go ahead and get into it. It's only fitting. He recently released a movie. We might as well talk about him. I'm talking our top 7 David Fincher movies.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. 7 makes sense because it's David Fincher, of course.
This
I
is
feel
gonna
like
be all over the place.
Yeah, I feel like it's a safe bet that you guys have probably seen at least 7, and if not, you've probably seen 5 or 6, and hopefully you can pick one up on this coming week. If you
I think I know what your number 1 is, Mitch.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. You'll see. I come out the gate with Mank.
Spoil it.
We'll see.
But yeah, so next week we'll be talking about the top 7 David Fincher movies directed by David Fincher, and these are movies, so we can't unfortunately include The House of Cards or Mindhunter pilots, which are fantastic. But the top 7 films directed by David Fincher, which we will talk about next week on Ranked, the podcast by the CineBoys. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, I'm Mitch. I'm joined by Ben and Sam, and we are the
CineBoys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.